The initial concept of 513 came when we were given a college task to come up with a story that involved gangsters and had to include a trade-off. So I thought of the concept of an SCP project, considering I had previously been involved with a similar project titled Descent into Darkness. I wanted it to seem like a proper mini studio short, as the previous 4 shorts were what I call the experimental phase, and thus this one had to be of a different quality overall. Hopefully what we have created shows. I feel fulfilled and satisfied with how the film turned out, even though the editing process was complete hell at times.
Sorry about that. Whoops. Yeah, because I know I told you to use 4K footage and then you exported in 720p, and I still want to kill you for that now.
That was not my fault. That was HitFilm's fault. I exported in 1080. I exported in 1080 and it went down to 720 for some reason. So during pre-production, I wrote the script for 513 and also had a bit of creative influence on how it would look. I had a certain vision I wanted to depict as well as style. I also played the role of storyboard artist, considering I wanted to nail down certain shots and camera movements also. The most difficult part of 513's planning to me was the story, because it was challenging to try and insert this story of gangsters and trading initially. With SCP being a story concept, it took a while for me to think of the cowbell's involvement in order to tie the story together. Unsurprisingly, planning for 513 took a few years because it had to grow since the concept stage naturally. The script was quite different initially, and then I rewrote it as well as draw out the storyboard. We then had to get actors together, locations, and these things take time in this industry. It was fun thinking of dialogue for the characters as well as their actions and how they behave. During the course of 513's planning and production, I had worked with a few friends who all did their own contributions to building 513. And those included Lewis Smithard, who was the lead and producer. You have Ben Walton, who acted in the film, Marcus Faulkner, who handled the camera, and then you have Kathleen Coman, who provided behind-the-scenes photos. We managed to stay in contact through social media such as Discord, where most of our planning was placed. There are countless other projects in development on our Discord server too. Definitely be more engaged during production. I felt like I wasn't around enough for a director's place. I am happy with how the film turned out, and I wouldn't want to change anything in terms of planning. So the next film currently being planned is Halloween Desolation, which will be based on the Halloween horror franchise. At the moment, the script needs to be reworked and locations are also important. The story isn't fully fleshed out yet also. I'm more nervous than excited, but you could say that, mainly because it needs to be better in terms of quality compared to 513. I see each mini studios film as a stepping stone, and each one is better than the last.
My name is Marcus, and I was helped decide what equipment to use on 513.
What piece of equipment did you think would be most useful when you were planning?
It would probably easily be the camera, because without a camera you couldn't really make a film, but then the lights, because a lot of the spaces, especially the bit up in the top of the tower, was quite dark, and probably couldn't, in areas that probably couldn't have filmed too well without lights in those sort of spaces. Probably went with sort of simple decisions, just sort of what will we need, just that sort of, because one of those things with working on location, you don't want to be carrying around more than you're actually going to use. So just sort of go with what we need and maybe a little bit more just in case, but not too much.
So what was your favourite part of planning? Because I know you were kind of dabbled in more than just the equipment stuff as well.
Yeah. I'd probably say it was quite good almost the week before productions, because that's sort of when it gets quite busy and you're sort of making sure everything's in place and everything's finalised and ready for the production, so you're all ready for the production, and it's sort of when everything starts to come together.
Yeah, because I noticed when you planned the monster, you kind of set across a block of time to do a group of shots, whereas I planned every single shot, and that kind of messed us up, especially because we didn't learn script lining at that point.
I'd say that'd probably be one thing to change, just because some shots could be quicker, but then other shots be longer. That's why whenever you do it scene by scene, you can give in the blocking time, because the blocking will stay the same between each shot. So you can always add that in to the start of the scene and those sort of bits.
Yeah, because I guess you can figure out which ones are more important than others and kind of sort them out that way, instead of going, we need to get every shot, otherwise it doesn't work, which was kind of what happened on set. Whoops. I know Ryan isn't here, but are you excited for the next production?
Very, very excited for the next one. Looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Do you know which one it is?
No.
The next production is Halloween Desolation.
Looking forward to it. Don't know what. Haven't seen the script or anything, but sounds interesting.
Have you not seen the script?
I don't think I saw it though.
Oh my god, did I not show you? So, what role did you play in pre-production?
In pre-production, I played the role as the maker, the prop guy who made the cowbell. Just pretend it's here. Just edit this in. Pretend it's right here. Like, oh, it looks so good. Oh wow, that is so amazing. You know, just pretend it's right here. Just get a picture of the one from the game and just put it here. Like, oh, that's so detailed. Oh, it's so real. So yeah, I made the cowbell. I also played Randy in 513, and I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed filming, hanging out with my mates, as well as I just enjoyed it really. Process of it was very interesting, simply because of the fact that I used cheapish materials. Like I used toilet roll for the paper mache part of the texture of the cowbell to get that rough, crinkly, old-looking effect. The main shape as well, I built it using poster board, which at times can be flimsy, but it definitely worked in the favour for the shape through the images, the reference images. I knew it had to be not a cube, but also not a pyramid shape. So I knew it had to be at a slope, like a pyramid, but make sure it had to be square at the top, so it can have the little handle at the top to go up and down. Making the cowbell was very interesting. The process of me painting it was, I painted one flat colour, which was the brownie colour, brown type colour, and then again with the lighter shade to show in more of the detail and stuff within it. If I were to repaint the cowbell, if I were to do it again, I'd probably start off with a more traditional cowbell, like a copper colour, a copper or gold or bronze or any of those colours, and then I would then go with dry brushing in browns, maybe a tiny bit of like a swampy green, mix in a bunch of variations of brown till we get a very old looking colour. And then that was that. Once I painted it, I made sure to give it a varnish, which it kind of bugs me today for the fact that it said on the varnish itself that it was matte, yet it turned out slightly glossy. Now I have a super matte varnish spray with me, but obviously back then I didn't, so I had to use what I had. Either way, the process was definitely interesting, and I think I definitely achieved the right shape as well as the right size. So in terms of how the cowbell turned out overall, I'm quite happy with it. I'm quite satisfied with the process and how it turned out. So
how long did it take you to do?
If it definitely wasn't for college work, it probably would have been 3 days. In reality, it took me about a week, or probably even a little bit more than that. So I still enjoyed going back to making the cowbell, working on it. Oh, I do a bit of college work. Oh, I'm going to do this, but then I'm like, okay, that's done. That's good. That means I can do this with the cowbell. So it was definitely a mixed mash of different things, of trying to balance college and life with making a cowbell. But either way, it didn't really matter because I managed to get it done. It was mostly me making the cowbell, but Ryan in the background kind of like guidance and maybe we should do this rather than that, just because he had knowledge and stuff of the game. So he's the one that sent me reference images to look after or to look at. And originally I was gonna add burn marks to the cowbell, so I was originally gonna burn certain areas, just get like a match and try and burn certain areas and then blow it back out, because I wanted to do a mix of the reference images of the cowbell from the games of SCP, as well as fusing that with real life references of old decrepit looking cowbells that have definitely shown their age. So he was the one that said no to the burn mark idea, so it was mostly me with a little hint from him and there. I'm enjoying the painting process because I think it's the simplest process to do, simply because of the fact, if you made a mistake, just paint on over it.
Is there anything you would do differently if you could do it again?
Oh god, yes. Yes. There are definitely some things I probably would change with it. I probably would do that little ringing, the part within it. Like if I put like metal plates inside it and had like a wooden thing to ring against it, something to actually make like a ringing sound, and it would echo through the shape of the cowbell, the hollowed out shape thing of the cowbell. What was that? It looked like I was doing a piano thing then. It'd be the ringing part as well as giving it weight, giving it more structure, making it give more weight. So